making the invisible visible, black women 365 days of the year. Each day will spotlight a remarkable woman whose story has shaped black, British or global diasporic history, women whose achievements are too often overlooked. Through these daily short films, we create a living, breathing archive of leadership, creativity, resistance and legacy. Let's begin.
So I am Karena Johnson and I am a director, I'm a curator, I'm a leader, I'm an enabler, I'm a mum, and currently I'm working at the Barbican Centre as the head of creative collaboration. That's my job, but do all of those other things too. So what drives my practice is a desire really to enable people to encounter and explore their creativity, whether they're artists who are, professionals in the game, or young people having their kind of first encounter with the arts at all, or someone who is trying out something new later in life. I'm really what is really a passion is about enabling as many people to be creative and encounter the arts as possible. One of the most influential people on my practice as a director particularly has been Denise Wong. So she was the artistic director of Black Mime Theatre Company, which was incredible, just incredible. Working in a physical theatre way, and although it was called mime, they did speak, but it was just phenomenal the way that she worked and the works that she produced. And I think probably the most influential or one that I remember, because I saw lots of their work, was Mothers, which was the first time she had a kind of women's troupe, because the very first incarnation was an all-male troupe, and just felt really resonant and very moving. And I think, thinking about that now in retrospect, I think it was very much reminds me of the very first piece of theatre that I saw when I was 14 and that I bought a ticket for. So I went to see it with my mum, and it was a piece called Belly Woman Bangarang, which was by a company called Sistren from Jamaica. And again, that was physical theatre, no props, just everything done with their body. It was an all-female troupe. And then I remember just being struck by the fact that they were young Jamaican women, because I guess the only Jamaican woman at the time I knew was my grandma. So I was like, wow, these women are speaking like my grandma, but they're about 18. But I remember it just being really magical that you could make someone believe in something by just the way you moved your body, and that those stories came from them. And that's exactly what Denise was doing with her work. Again, improvised work, that devised work that had come from those people. So I think she's probably the most influential in my practice. And later, as a director, I've worked with some people who also worked with her. And I think the nicest compliment anyone ever gave me was like, God, this really reminds me of working with Denise. And I was like, oh, really? I think I'm actually just like a total nerd. And I think, I'm not sure I hide it that well, but as a kid, I think it's really hard to be the kind of slightly nerdy, bookish child. But I think that all the nerds should know that in the end they rule the world. Right now when you're a kid, you want to be like everyone else, but actually being an individual, and being a bit quirky is actually a gift. And in later life, you will really be thankful of that. And so I think I'm much better at celebrating now. I don't think I used to much when I was younger. I'd be always, thinking about what is the next thing. I think that also slightly comes from being, having directing as my first, as my artistic practice, my first practice, is that always looking at things to improve it. So often you're like, oh, that's you look less at the things that are doing brilliant or happening well. You're looking at the things that are, where are the things I should be changing. But I think I'm much better now at celebrating those moments. And I think what I now do much more, and I think is a habit that I've developed, is about looking for the small wins every day. And then you might have bigger wins. I'm very much a fan of cake. Always bring cake. I'm like, we're winning today, bring cake is often the way. So I think my team are quite used to that. Yeah, so I think it's that, and then also, really finding the joy in other people. So I think that's one of the privileges of working with um, developing new audiences or with young people, is that actually when you can be quite jaded or you think, oh, I've seen this all before, actually watching somebody else have that encounter for the very first time is really inspiring, and it just reminds you of why you do that and why you get up to do that work every day.
Thank you for joining us for today's story. Making the Invisible Visible is our commitment to ensuring that Black women's histories and contributions are recognised, valued and kept in daily circulation. Across 2026, we will continue to share these powerful narratives, 365 days of impact, brilliance and inspiration. Stay connected, join the conversation and help us champion the women whose journeys continue to shape our world. I'm Paulette Brooks and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for the next story.